What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL here with another movie review. Today we are talking about Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. Finally, I'm going to be talking about the fourth installment of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise that is debuted on Netflix. Um, I have already talked about the previous three Beverly Hills Cop films because I have never seen them. So I wanted to watch them and give you guys my thoughts on them before I decided to talk about Axel F. So if you haven't seen my reviews for the previous three films, check out my channel. It is going to be on a playlist called Beverly Hills Cop. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into Axel F. So, I pretty much enjoy the Beverly Hills Cop films. I've enjoyed all three of them. I thought they were pretty fun. Some people consider Beverly Hills Cop to be one of the best action comedies of all time. I don't know if I can fully agree with that, but I did have a good time watching them. Eddie Murphy, I think, is pretty good as Axel F, and Judge Reynolds as Billy, and John Ashton as John. I think the team dynamic and the banter that they have, I thought were really good, and the action in that is very well done. On top of the comedic bits, I thought for the most part were very good. So I think this was a surprise for everyone when they said that they were going to make another Beverly Hills Cop film. At the same time, it's probably not too surprising because we're living in an age now where 30, 40-year-old franchises are being revived with sequels and remakes and prequels and stuff like that. So I guess this is once again just another franchise that's going to get the nostalgia treatment. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And of course, adding more fuel to the fire because we just had, Bad Boys Ride or Die, bringing back a 30-year-old, franchise practically. So, and that's doing really well. So I'm sure Paramount was looking at that being like, you know what? We can do the same thing with Eddie Murphy. I think also because, Eddie Murphy signing this multi-year deal with Netflix, I'm sure, him wanting to bring back Beverly Hills Cop at some point. I'm sure that's something that he was fully into doing as well. So yeah, Netflix, huh? I didn't expect for them to have Netflix distribute this movie. I honestly don't. I honestly think should have been something that they could have done in theaters. Even though I'm personally I'm not like the biggest fan of the franchise, but I know there's a lot of people that are big fans of Beverly Hills Cop. And so I think this could have done well in theaters if they just did that. Netflix, uh, there's already kind of problematic with Netflix, as far as them, not releasing their big, movies, big franchise films in theaters, or at least letting them have a good limited release so they can have some money, and then go to a streaming service. This is a similar thing that I thought about with Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, because they gave that a limited release, but I think it was only for a couple of days, which I thought was nuts. That should have had a longer theatrical window because a lot of people were excited to see Glass Onion, and people came out to see Glass Onion. You know, so I wish they did that with Beverly Hills Cop. Let them have a limited release in theaters and then be put on a streaming service. But regardless, and also because Paramount Plus probably needs all the financial stuff that they can get, because they released Top Gun Maverick and that did really well, made $1 billion. Nobody expected that too, and with Paramount being in a financial rut that they are, I would think that releasing this movie probably would have helped them a little bit. Not saying that Beverly Hills Cop would make $1 billion as well, but I think it probably would have done well at the box office. Though I don't know, with the release date that they chose, I don't know if it wanted to compete with other films coming out, Deadpool and Wolverine and stuff like that. Maybe you could have released it later in the year or something like that, or maybe earlier. I don't know. I digress. Anyway, getting to this film, well, Eddie Murphy, I would say he aged gracefully. He's in his 60s right now, and he still looks really good. So I wasn't one of those people that was like, oh no, he's too old to do another Beverly Hills Cop, because he's still keeping himself in healthy shape. You know, I was kind of dubious about Judge Reynolds and John Ashton coming back, even though I'm happy to see them again, especially John because like he wasn't in the third film, so I'm glad that they brought him back for this. But you know, they didn't age as great as Eddie Murphy, so I'm hoping it's not like a Dial of Destiny situation where it's like, you know, they're barely having them do anything action wise, or they'll feel like slow in the scenes that they're in. Um, but yeah, like I said, like I'm just expecting a fun time. I wasn't expecting anything great or extravagant with this. Just having a fun, entertaining movie. As long as it's in the same vein as the previous two, previous three movies, and hopefully they put in a little bit more effort than the third film. You know, because a lot of people didn't like the third film. Um, you know, I'm sure it'll be a fun time, and that's exactly what I got. This was a good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Um, yeah, I I pretty much enjoyed this just as much as the previous films. You know, like I said, I didn't really know what to expect with them revisiting this after so long. But like, you know, it even though yeah, there are some things that do feel different. There are some modernized stuff in here, and but like it still felt like Beverly Hills Cop, and you know that is something that I definitely appreciate. I'm glad they didn't try to like, you know, try to change it too much for the for today's era for modern movie going audiences. I'm glad it didn't try to change it completely. Like it was updating itself to stay with the times, but it still kept the core and essence of what Beverly Hills Cop was. So I was happy about that. Um, Eddie Murphy once again as Axel F. Really entertaining to watch. And I thought, and I was worried that I was going to get distracted by the fact that he is older now, but it did feel like he hasn't missed a beat. He felt like the exact same Axel that we've been following from the previous three films. A little bit more mature, a little bit more experience, which is something that I liked. And as far as the action scenes, like they didn't ask too much of him, and that's what I definitely appreciated. Um, and it didn't feel like the action scenes were being compromised because of his age, because that's something that I felt with Indy 5 was that the action scenes were compromised because of Harrison Ford's age. I didn't feel it here. Like once again, they weren't making Eddie Murphy do more than what he could, but at the same time, it's like they weren't trying to treat him like he's still in his 20s. They were actually able to adapt the action scenes accordingly, and it was still very exciting. And I definitely am glad that they are still using practical effects, practical stunts, practical car work. There were some CGI enhancements here and there, but like it wasn't like a lot of it. Like they were only using CGI when it was absolutely necessary. Especially with they want to up the ante as far as like big set pieces. Like you, of course, you've seen the helicopter sequence in the trailer, and that one was actually done really, really well. But it wasn't too over the top, and that was something that I was concerned about going in. But it was a very entertaining sequence. Um, but yeah, so what I also liked was the story was actually pretty good as far as the personal dynamic that this time around with Axel. Like, there's this whole storyline going on with her daughter. I'm sorry, with his daughter, Jane, and I actually really, really liked it. I actually liked it was an estranged father-daughter type of relationship. And she grew up to be a lawyer and stuff like that, and it seems like Axel was just not in her life for the majority of the time, and she's kind of like resentful of him because of that. And I didn't expect that type of storyline to be in here, and I found that kind of compelling. Wasn't anything like innovative, like, no, of course you've seen the estranged parent and child relationship. You've seen that done numerous times in previous films, but I still thought it was pretty good how they did it, and I thought they were going to treat it like, I thought they weren't going to treat it super serious because, Axel doesn't like to take things super seriously, but like there was actually some genuine, like earnest, heartfelt moments in the film. And I'm glad that they had that, it was actually felt a little bit more grounded than, what we usually see from the previous three films. I honestly would have liked to have known more about, her mother. Is it the same love interest from the third film, or was it somebody completely different? They don't really go into that, but it's fine. Oh, and we have a newcomer in the film, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. His name's Bobby in the film. I thought he was pretty good. He also has kind of a relationship with Jane. That's that they kind of established in the film, which I thought, okay, that's interesting. Like like they used to date and stuff like that. So that was okay, that's a cool dynamic they have there. And as far as like the team dynamic and the chemistry that he has with Eddie Murphy and the rest of the team, I thought he did a pretty good job. I'm actually happy to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a film again because I do like him as an actor. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen him in like a big movie. So and I thought he was pretty good in this. Judge Reynolds and John Ashton, I really like them. Um, glad to see that they were wanted to come back for this. Yeah, they're not as like energetic as Eddie Murphy. Obviously, they looked a little more aged than Eddie Murphy, but still, I thought they were really good. They didn't feel lost. They still felt just as character wise the same as they were in the previous movies. They still had great chemistry between all three of them. And as far as the action scenes, they did a lot more than I thought they were going to do. So yeah, definitely kudos to them. I thought they were great. And then the villain this time around, Kevin Bacon. You can't go wrong with Kevin Bacon, man. He already has a lot of charisma as it is. So, like, if it wasn't Kevin Bacon, I guess I would say this will be another generic, bad guy that's manipulating the system and stuff like that and influencing people to think that he's a good person when he's not. So we've seen that before. But the fact that it is Kevin Bacon that's the villain in here, it gives it a couple notches up, because Kevin Bacon is such an entertaining actor. So I liked him in here, but there's nothing really that different villain wise. There's nothing like too much to chew on with as far as his character. Which is same old, same old. And then yeah, like if you like those old pop songs that they played in the previous films, they played here. This is definitely a nostalgia trip throughout the film. And that's something I guess I kind of expected, especially with Eddie Murphy having, like, I'm sure he had a lot of creative input when it came to this film, so I'm sure he wanted to make sure that the pop songs from the previous films play in here. There's a little bit of they do have a modern remix to some of the instrumentals here and there, but it didn't feel too modern, and I thought they did decently mixing the old songs with some current hip hop pop songs. Like they did a good job implementing those in the film. But yeah, definitely this is a nostalgia trip for people that love Beverly Hills Cop. I do think that, diehard fans will have a good time with this. This doesn't feel like a slap in the face as far as the previous films. It feels just in line with the other ones. And I'm actually glad that, as far as this being a Netflix production, they actually put a little bit more effort in this, because most of the Netflix films that's been released have not been very good. So I appreciate that they didn't let the quality of this film go down. They actually cared about making a good film. They actually cared about the franchise, and I'm sure like Eddie Murphy was making sure that they weren't going to do BS with this film either. But I'm just happy to see that not only that this is a good Netflix film, that this is a good Beverly Hills Cop film, at least in my opinion. And yeah, I definitely think I would watch this again. Once again, this did not win me over as far as making me a big lover of the franchise, but I appreciate the franchise. I have a good time with these films. Like, they serve its purpose. They have a fan base. Eddie Murphy, doing his thing in these movies. What more could I say? Do I want them to do another one? Probably not. Probably not. Because like I don't want this to, once again. I keep bringing up Indiana Jones. I don't want this to turn to another Indiana Jones situation, because like they barely got away with it with this film, with Eddie Murphy being in the 60s and Judge and John being as old as they are. Like, I don't know how much further they can do this franchise. So honestly, I think this should be the last one, but I don't know. We'll see what Eddie Murphy wants to do. We'll see what Netflix wants to do. They make another one. Hopefully, it'll still be good, but I don't need any more. Yeah, but overall, this is a good film. I'm gonna give Beverly Hills Cop Axel F a solid B. So definitely, it's consistent in quality. Um, go watch this if you are a fan of Beverly Hills Cop. Go watch this. Definitely worth the watch. But those are my thoughts. What did you guys think about Axel F? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does it compare to the previous three movies? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you, Beverly Hills Cop fans, and I'll catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Do 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 do.